I'm here with Lutz. Lutz, thank you very much for. It's a pleasure to have you here. Would love to meet you in person, but let's do it virtually for now. My first question is actually I want to ask you to talk about the importance of the night economy, the generation of jobs, the production chains that turn around this market, please.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in this crisis, we actually experience it. The whole ecosystem of clubbing is based on bringing people together in uh, creating social contacts, and this is, of course, in this epidemic, nothing you can do. It's obvious that we have to think about different ways, and of course, in these times, yeah, the economy is really hit hard, and with the economy, of course, also the social and the cultural aspects of nighttime culture.
And do you think that there is a recognition of the cultural importance of the night scene?
I think it depends on where you are. I think we're in these countries where you have created a nighttime advocacy role, like as a night mayor or a commission that is advocating for nightlife. There's a higher appreciation, a higher recognition for nighttime as a culture. Such as countries like in Berlin, we have since 20 years an organization that is advocating for nightlife, and of course, then you have a different perception on what we do than in a country where this is a really new topic.
Yeah, actually in São Paulo, we have a huge nightlife scene, but we are not that articulated as you are. We, in the pandemic, started to organizing like nightclubs and the venues, like to work together. And I think that there is a positive perspective for the scenes. And what was the impact? You talk about it a little bit, but what is the impact of a pandemic on the sector in general?
Well, what's the impact? People are in many countries unemployed. The whole ecosystem is really hit really hard, probably the most hard sector of all. Um, we are dealing now with lockdowns, with curfews, with prohibition, alcohol prohibition. So it is really, yeah. I think there's not another culture or another branch that is hit so hard due to the epidemic. But we also see that there is also some positive things happening at the moment, that people collaborate more than they used to. You just mentioned that in Sao Paulo, now people also come together who maybe were enemies before and didn't want to work together, and now they see, in a crisis we have to also stand up together and formulate what our needs are, and create a plan and address this to our decision makers on the city level and government level.
And how was in Berlin the? Do you have like during the pandemic, lots of clubs and venues closing, like shutting down their business, or it was not that bad? Because here in São Paulo, what I observe is that many clubs are not coming after pandemic. They had to close the business, and as you said before, like a lot of unemployed people. And how is it there? Talking about venues and clubs.
Yeah, I definitely can say what you're talking about. The situation in Sao Paulo is very similar in many other countries and cities in the world. We at the moment working on a global nighttime recovery plan that we are working together with more than 130 people all over the world. But as I must say, from the perspective of a German or from a German city, I must say that we get government support. We have emergency programs that are especially targeting private cultural venues such as clubs. We have emergency programs to support the workers in the clubs. So there is a lot of money being spent, but I also know that this is very much the exception. And unfortunately, till now, we could save all the 140 clubs of Berlin. But we also don't know how long this crisis is going to take and if we make it all through it.
Yes. And do you think the lives, like the live concerts on the internet, will have any impact on the future? Can you stop this resume? Is there any proposal for hybrid formats?
Yeah, we actually started a really nice project already in March, 5 days after the lockdown. On March 18th, we launched United We Stream. It is a global platform now, which has more than 90 cities, and we also launched United We Stream Latam. So Latin America is also coming now into the family of United We Stream, and we want to stream from clubs, from empty venues to show the urgency and to show that artists don't have a space. It is, but it is not a business model yet. It is an awareness campaign. It is a way of presenting more than 2,000 artists that we had now on our stages. We presented more than 400 venues. We also generated donations, more than 1.5 million euros in donations, but also it sounds a lot of money, but it doesn't save all the nightlife. So it's more like yeah, a small part of doing something good.
And what are the main challenges do you believe nightlife will return to what was before pandemic?
Yeah, that's a question a lot of people ask me, but when I would answer, we are probably the most progressive part of society. So do we want to go back to normal? Do we want to go back where we were, or do we want to go somewhere else? So I think, of course, it is really a tough time. And you already talked about it. There were venues shut down. There are artists unemployed. A lot of people were looking for different jobs now because they couldn't afford their artist or their nightlife, working life anymore. So it is nothing that we can be easy about it. But definitely we should reconsider a lot of things that were happening before. We should reconsider how we get gentrified in cities, that we get pushed out of cities, that we consider artist fees. That we have some skyrocketing artist fees and festivals that we also have to reconsider if this is the right way. The whole traveling around the world is something that we should think about if this is still something we should do in these times of climate change and so forth. So I think also inclusiveness, the whole topic of gender equality in nightlife, we have to learn and to work a lot in these issues. And so hopefully we also learn in this crisis that we get a bit more closer together, but also rethink the stuff that we did before.
It's really, as a person who works with nightlife here in São Paulo, it's really inspiring to talk to you and to see and to hear all you were talking about. And getting to our last question, how do you think music can change the world, can change the future, let's say?
Well, I think that's a very personal question, and if you once have been in a club and you experience a life experience of music, of a crowd around you, this can be a very spiritual what do you say, like experience that you go through and that you have. And that's something that a lot of people are missing at the moment when you're in quarantine, when you're at home in your isolated environment. And I think that is something that you start to miss the most. The impact that it has if you're together with certain people with the same mindset, have the same flow, the same energy created on a dance floor, and a live stream cannot replace that for sure.
Yes. Let's thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to talk to you and to have you here. Again, hope to meet you in person as soon as possible. And I will write you down to talk about this initiative of the nightclubs. I want to know more and to understand how can I personally contribute. And thank you very
Likewise.
much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the talking.